Good morning, friends. Actually, sorry for slightly getting late. Initially, I have discussed a lot of topics with you on modern history, and I have been continuously giving you the lecture on various topics. In Hindi medium, I have already discussed the topic partition of India, and we have discussed the very important, very ticklish and controversial issue: could the partition of India be averted? It is itself a big question. And in one sense, you can say it is the one of the most researched topics. One of the most researched topics not only in history, but rather in whole humanities. It is due to the fact, in humanities, every knowledge is simply a perspective. Some critics believe if Jinnah could have been offered the post of prime ministership at the time of the cabinet mission, the partition of India could have been averted. And Jinnah could have complied with the newly found and prestigious post. And possibly he might have changed his mind. But my friends, actually such logic springs out from the parochial approach to the analysis of history. If you will take a broad idea of history, you will find in history, or rather you can say in any of humanities, a number of factors are working simultaneously. A number of factors, not a single one factor. Whenever you will just observe the partition literature, or you can say the topic like partition, you will come to realize, in fact, there are a lot of players who are making a study of partition of India. They are simply concentrating over Jinnah, Nehru, Patel as the protagonist behind the partition. But truth is that whenever you have to make a study of the partition, you have to concentrate over the three important factors. Firstly, better to divide it in two factors, then we are moving to the third one: a structural factor and contingent factors. A structural factor means the long-term imperative behind partition, which did not appear in the short-term, perspective. Rather, it was a long-term travel, a long-term factors. Second one is the contingent factors. Contingent factors means immediate factor. Then once again, you can divide the contingent factors in three subgroups. One is the international metropolitan, the international factor. The second one is metropolitan and colonial factor. And third one is the regional factor. Up, I am just coming to the point one by one, then you will be clear. Firstly, a structural factor. What is a structural factor? There are some scholars, you will come to know the names: G.D. Khoshla, Gyanendra Pandey, Hassan, etc. They came to discuss about the structural factor. A structural factor means these scholars tried to establish that in fact there was the very natural and permanent rift between Hindu and Muslim communities right from the early time. They are giving a reference to socio-religious reform movement of 19th century. They try to prove that it was in course of the socio-religious reform movement there was the rise of fundamentalist politics in India, because it was the time from Raja Ram Mohan Roy to Swami Vivekanand and Dayanand Saraswati. They emphasized over the Hindu heritage of Indian culture. On the other hand, there were certain Bahavis, Farajis, etc. They were the Muslim revivalists, and instead they were just looking towards the glory of Islam in Central Asia and West Asia. And the Hindu heritage of India naturally led towards the Ganesh Utsav and Shivaji Utsav in Maharashtra, which were later enforced by Tilak. So these were definitely the long-term imperative behind the rise of communal politics in India, and finally it led to the partition of India. So this was the one factor. Second one factor is the contingent factors. Contingent factors means now there are the three players. One player is the international player, that is the international politics. Second one player is the metropolitan and colonial. Metropolitan and colonial means ki all the game plans were formulated at London, and London was playing the bigger role. Here the third one factor is the regional factor. According to the regional factor, it was the local politics of Punjab and Bengal, and UP also, which became instrumental behind the partition of India. Now, whenever we are talking about the regional factors, so it is in course of the regional factors itself, you are supposed to discuss even about the role of personalities or individuals like Jinnah, Patel, Nehru, etc. Do you understand my point or not? You can ask me the question, which is the instrumental factor or which is the more decisive factor. I am sorry, I will be helpless. It is for the fact, it is the most researched topic and no historians can give you the final judgment, although all the historians are giving their own judgment, and for their own sake they can take it as a final. But at least audience will not give any of them the full and complete marks. Because in humanities, every knowledge is simply a perspective. So better to discuss all the factors and then you have to take some concluding point, because after all you are a student, and apart from the academic discussion, it is imperative for you to take certain decisions, certain conclusion while answering one question. So at least we have to come to certain conclusion, and for your convenience I will give you some sort of conclusion to you. Come to firstly, we are putting international factor a bit aside and coming first to the this one colonial and metropolitan factor, even putting aside, we are coming to the regional factor first. In the regional factors, firstly we are giving focus over the certain politics in Punjab, Bengal and UP. So whenever Jinnah started the campaigning for Pakistan, so Pakistan unfortunately meant differently for the different group of Muslims. For the Muslims of Bengal, it was freedom from, the hand of the cruel Jamindars of Bengal. Means it was some sort of peasant utopia which came to, peasants of Bengal believe, I think you are familiar with the local politics of Bengal. The unfortunate condition of Bengal was that the landlords were coming from Hindu community, and on the other hand, the majority of peasants were coming from the Muslim communities. And whatever differences and whatever conflict appeared between the two groups, so that was an agrarian conflict and a conflict in the agrarian interest. But unfortunately, it was given the color, the communal color, particularly by the Muslim League. Now we are coming to Punjab. In Punjab, you can say the majority of Muslim masses who were the peasants, so they were exploited by Hindu money lenders, what you know as Lalaji and Sahukar, money lenders. So there was the regional issue. But Muslim League benefited from the situation. Jinnah the League tried to convince them that the Pakistan would be a haven for you, and you will be free from the clutches of the cruel Hindu Jamindars in Bengal and cruel Hindu money lenders in Punjab. But what about Bihar, UP and Maharashtra, Bihar, UP and Bombay? You will be surprised to know that initially when Jinnah brought the proposal and you can say introduced the so-called Lahore proposal, you might have heard about. It was in Lahore proposal, there was a proposal for a separate Muslim state or states. So you will be rather shocked to know that initially even the Muslims from Punjab and Bengal or any other majority Muslim provinces, they did not give support to the Jinnah's, you can say, perception of the separate Muslim state. But unfortunately, the Jinnah came to enjoy the initial support from the Muslims of Bengal, Punjab, and uh, the Muslims of Bihar, UP, and United Province, and from Bombay, where the Muslims were already in minority. So, for the Muslims for Bihar and UP, as Dhulipala has tried to establish in a recently, you can say, written book. The name of the book is Searching a New Medina or whatever. कि for the Muslims of UP and Bihar, it is the creation of a new Medina for Muslims. And here, one interesting thing is that कि Jinnah and initially even the League left the, you can say, vision of this demography of Muslim state vague, so that even we can enjoy the support from those Muslims who are not falling into the periphery of the so-called Pakistan. Do you understand my point or not? If the Bihar and Muslims of Bihar and UP just come to know, in fact, our geographical boundary, and you can say we are not falling within the geographical boundary of Pakistan, they could not have been enthusiastic about creating the new separate, you can say, new state or the Muslim state. So here the Muslim League tactfully kept the, you can say, area of, or the, you can say, demarcated boundary of this Muslim state vague. They were not allowed to know. So in this way, you can say the factors were working. Up here, my point is that there are different protagonists. कि Muslim League, you can say, was just fighting for the separate state. Then what is the role of the Congress? So initially, or you can say in the traditional historiography, it is so far believed. In fact, the Muslim League just invited the partition, and Congress tried to just stop the whole process. Although Congress failed to, you can say, prevent this mishappening or this tragedy, but it was simply a failure on the part of the Congress. But Congress tried at its best to stop it. It was the traditional historiography. But there is a Pakistani historian, although she is from Cambridge background, so she is a Cambridge historian. Her name is Aisa Jalal. Aisa Jalal brought a new paradigm in the analysis of the Pakistan and the creation of a new state. She tried to establish that it was not Jinnah who is the actual protagonist behind the creation of Pakistan. Rather, it was Patel and Nehru who allowed Pakistan to come into existence. In what way? It is a matter of surprise, rather shocking for you people also. She has just given the argument. In fact, when Jinnah introduced this so-called Lahore proposal, in which there was a provision for the separate Muslim state, so Jinnah just brought this proposal only for bargaining counter. Bargaining counter, for example, कि suppose you are just, you can say, demanding for the license of a cannon, at least the authority will allow you to keep a pistol. So it might be according to them the strategy of Jinnah to deal with the issue of Pakistan. But even this is not convincing. So this is the one factor. Now the question arises, you people will ask me, could the creation of Pakistan or could the partition of India be averted? So my simple answer would be, if for the creation of Pakistan simply the contingent factor was accountable, for example, Jinnah was accountable, Nehru was accountable, Patel was accountable. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad has highlighted 2 points. 2 points became instrumental behind the partition of India. One is the elections of 1937, because in elections of 1937, even today I have given a reference, you people may recall, both Congress and the Muslim League fought together against the Nawab of Chhattari in United Province, and both were likely to form a coalition government. But as the Congress backed the number of seats, the larger number of seats, and it was in a position to form its own government, and it was enjoying the landslide victory in the elections. So after being overconfident, it deserted Muslim League, and then you can say it just neglected the coalition dharma and formed its own separate government. I have discussed this aspect with you people. So in fact, Maulana Azad is too much highlighting this point, that possibly it was an instrumental factor behind the creation of Pakistan, because it created a permanent cleavage between the League and the Congress. And the second one factor is, Maulana Azad has highlighted कि Nehru bulldozed cabinet mission plan. Nehru bulldozed cabinet mission plan, so that is slightly a detailed issue. So here I will just brief, so that will take some time. Uh, in fact, in sum total, I can say in the cabinet mission plan, there was the three-tier structure, and the cabinet mission plan just made this point clear. There was some group clause. So Nehru has given some statement. In sum total, you should know. So that was, you can say, hurting to Muslim League, and then the League withdrew from this cabinet mission plan. So due to such a statement of Nehru, and then Patel even highlighted the point, ki, never in my life I have repented such a decision as I have after, you can say, promoting Nehru as the next president and as my successor in the Congress. If Nehru could not have been the president of the Congress at that time, this cabinet mission plan might not have been bulldozed. Here my point is, now you can very well answer my question, sir, in this way the partition could have been averted, because either Nehru was accountable, or Jinnah was accountable, or Patel was accountable. So you will remove the wrongs, and the things would be done again, and the things would come on the right path. So if Nehru could not have done so, if Jinnah could not have done so, so it is just like the thing, if the nose of Cleopatra could have been a bit smaller, the trend of history could have been something else. In history, there is very less scope to what could not have happened than what could have happened. But here I have to discuss another aspect with you. But my students, if for partition, not simply contingent factor, but also the long-term factors, long-term imperatives, and apart from that, the metropolitan state, the international scenario, all are accountable. You will remove the wrongs done by Jinnah, Nehru, or Patel, but you cannot remove all the factors which are just interplaying their role at international level or metropolitan level. Come first one, like metropolitan level. At the level of Britain. So Britain was ready to stay in India, and Britain was insisting, and Britain had been insisting to stay in India in spite of the resistance from the side of the national movement. But the Second World War made the situation and brought a dramatic change in the situation. Because, my student, after the Second World War, what happened? So after the Second World War, in fact, Britain was a great loser. It is a well-known, you can say, proverb, that Britain won the war, but Britain lost the empire, because the economic condition of Britain declined sharply. Here you should recall that, in fact, one of the major incentives for Britain to stay in India was that Britain had been collecting the surplus from India in the form of home charges. But in course of the Second World War, Britain was itself indebted to India. Instead of moving resources from India to Britain, now time has come that Britain had to make some payment to India itself. So now economically it was not beneficial for Britain to stay in India anymore. This was the one factor. Second one factor was that as in course of the Second World War, you have already observed Quit India movement, then the trial of INA, you can say the volunteers, then the trial of naval ratings you might have heard about. So all these factors made this point clear that now nationalism percolated to the lowest level, including even army, navy, and different organs of the government machinery. So it would be not possible for the government to stay in India any longer. And third one factor was that as Hindu-Muslim conflict reached up to the point, Britain always tried to create a cleavage between the two, but to give a signal to the world that we are maintaining peace and harmony in India. But now the time has come that British claws were going to be stained with blood in future. So Britain was not in a position to tolerate this sort of situation. So Britain had to withdraw from India. But Britain has already left a Frankenstein. What is Frankenstein? That is Bhasmasur, you might have heard about, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva created some Bhasmasur. Have you heard the story of Lord Shiva? And this Bhasmasur was likely to put his hand on the head of Lord Shiva himself. Anyhow, he could manage the situation. So the same happened, and now the same Muslim League was creating hurdles for the government, and the British were quite unable to leave India. So British were in hurry. Even Maulana Azad in India Wins Freedom, who has, just like his autobiography, you can say, he has mentioned this thing that British could have stayed in India some time more. So some solution to this partition could have been searched, but unfortunately the British prefer to return from India as early as possible. This is a very unfortunate situation for India. Okay, anyway, so here at the level of metropolitan state, we can say that Britain were in hurry from return to India. So how could the solution of this partition could have been such? This was the one factor. Up come to international scenario. My students, are you recalling? It was in course of the Second World War, Cold War already started. There were two parties, Russians and Americans. And you may observe the geographical location of Afghanistan. Afghanistan was at the very important strategic location. And even you are recalling the thing, Afghanistan was in neighborhood to Russia. And you are also recalling the fact that throughout its course of staying in India, the British government suffered from the Russophobia. So anyhow, Britain could maintain and to, you can say, put, Russia back from Afghanistan. So now as the Cold War started, so it was almost clear for USA and Britain both that someday or the other the Soviet Russia would penetrate Afghanistan. And if Soviet Russia would penetrate Afghanistan, in that case, we need some land to fight against them. And even Britain and USA were already aware of the fact that at least the India was not going to provide that land, for the fact that right from 1946 itself, you can say that Nehru has already started to talk in terms of non-alignment. So as the Congress was talking in terms of non-alignment, so it was a very important question for the, you can say, British American group and bloc. Then from where you find the base to fight against Russian communism, if Russian communism entered into Afghanistan? So it was in the larger interest of this, you can say, this Western powers to promote partition of India so that in future Pakistan could work as their military base, and that happened, you know. Can you recall the thing, if Pakistan or British, you know, if British American faction could defeat Russia in Cold War, so it became possible while using Pakistan as the launching pad. So partition was in the larger interest of then my students. Can you imagine that a single one factor is accountable for the partition? Either Jinnah or Patel or Nehru or some wrongs done at the local level could have removed the situation of partition. So partition was almost inevitable. But my student, the question arises, what were the factors behind that? So many factors were accountable behind that. International factor, the metropolitan colonial factor, the regional factor, a structural factor, the contingent factors, all were accountable for the partition. For that, a single one party could not be held accountable. The mistakes and counter mistakes were committed from all the sides, but definitely cost to the British who came to India and created the situation for the partition, because they were the outsiders and they became a big protagonist behind this politics of partition. So it is a quite unfortunate condition for India. Thank you very much. Now in the next one lecture, I'll discuss another thing.